That's great. So happy to see you here today for the
I'm
second time.
in conversation with you guys, and thank you for the invitation again.
I don't know, your breaking voices sometimes breaks.
Let me check something. I fixed something. Is that better?
I can hear you, but are you using some, can you use some headphones or something?
Man, let me find my headphones. I'm not sure. I think. Give me a second.
Okay, no problem. Yes.
Yeah.
Just type.
Why is it breaking?
So, as we said before, the goal, the topic of the live will be goal setting. Of course, we will have a chat with Amina first about. I think the sound is okay.
It's okay. I can't find my
Yeah.
my head.
No, I think it's good. Guys, write in the comments if you can hear us.
Can you hear us clearly?
Yes. So, can you hear me and Amina? Is the voice clear?
Perfect.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. So let's start right away. So we would like to start with the, yeah, I think some guys here have seen you in the live we did last year. And I think it was one of the most successful lives I did. One of the first lives I did, of course, on Instagram with you. And it was the most successful one because, you know, I post the lives on YouTube. Like as a whole, I record them and I post them. And the live with you was surprisingly one of the most viewed ones.
That's nice to hear. Thank you. Wonder
Yeah,
why.
yeah,
But
it was one of the most viewed ones. Even the lives I did with other teachers, like foreign teachers, native speakers and stuff like this, it didn't get much views as the one we did together. So tell us, who's Amina?
So, just wanted to make sure we're speaking in English, right?
Yes,
Okay.
mostly.
So,
I think people here would like to hear more English than Arabic, so feel free to use Arabic when it's necessary, when you see it's necessary. Have no problem.
Okay. So, my name is Amina Mejذوبي. I am a teacher here in the US in Houston, Texas. I teach English language arts to 9th graders. And I am a micro poetry author. I am a published author. My book is called Dry Tears, Wet Ink, my first one, and I finished the next book that's hopefully coming out in 2022.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am.
So interesting. So Amina is a teacher in the USA. Sorry, dropped my phone. Yeah. So she's a teacher, and also she's an author. She also publishes. I think your book is already published. There is a electronic version, or there's a hard copy for the book.
There is a hard copy for the book on Amazon. There's also an electronic in Amazon as well.
Yeah, what's the title of the book? Like, what's it about?
The book is called Dry Tears, Wet Ink, and it's a collection of poems that are basically like biographical. So it's my life through a collection of poems. All the poems that I write are mostly inspired by true events that happened to me. And so it's kind of like an autobiography book, but not in prose version, more like poetry.
Nice. So, Sorry about that. My phone keeps dropping. So, Amina, this is actually one of the one interesting thing, like to be a teacher. Like many teachers, they are complaining about being teachers because they say teachers don't have enough time to do other stuff, like apart from teaching. How do you manage to keep up with being an author and teaching?
Mm-hmm. And so being a teacher is part of who I am. And I have to honor the other parts of me that exist, like fashion, I like writing. And so for me to be a good teacher, I have to make sure I'm creating. But that's just what I like. It could be you liking to play soccer. It could be you wanting to hang out with friends. It could look like anything. But I think it's important to take care of ourselves in order for us to do a good job at work. If we don't fill our cup, we can't pour from an empty cup. And I feel like when I take care of myself and I'm good on a personal level, I know I am going to rock it in the classroom and I will be a good teacher or try to be a good teacher. But if I'm burned out, I cannot be a good teacher. And I feel like my students can feel it, I can feel it. And so I just make sure that I manage my time and set goals for myself.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll be back to our topic. This is the main topic, goal setting, which is really important. We just like to know more about you since you're a Moroccan, and the idea is really impressive to many of the people watching now, to be Moroccan and to prove yourself as a teacher in the USA, which is not everyone can do this. How does it feel to be a Moroccan teacher in the USA?
I think
is it challenging now for you?
So I feel like teaching is challenging, period. Teaching is not an easy job.
Of course. Yes.
Whatever you're teaching, I have so much respect for you. I think we should all make an understanding of that. But honestly, I think the idea that I'm Moroccan teaching in the US is almost in the back of my head now. Not that I forget that I'm Moroccan, it's something I'm so proud of. I try to show it and just be it every single day.
Sorry, how long have you been teaching now in the USA? How long have you been teaching?
I've been teaching for 9 years. 9
years. So that's why you forgot about the fact that you're Moroccan teaching there. You got used to it.
I got so used to it. It's just really a right now, and so I just think of myself as a teacher. But sometimes in the classroom, just yesterday I told my students that my parents are cousins. They're far cousins, but they are related. They have the same last name, and it was mind-blowing to them that my parents are cousins and they were married and they had me. And so we had a conversation that it's quite okay in my culture in some areas in Morocco that people marry their cousins. And I think that's when I remember, like, oh yeah, I'm very different. Sometimes I eat with my hands. My parents are cousins. They think it's crazy, you know. But day to day, I think I just go to work. That's it. But in the beginning of the year, every time I start teaching, they always ask me, "Where are you from?" Because we know you're not American. I guess just the things say, my vibe. And I'm like,
although you don't look much not American. Like in general, you could be confused with American.
Yeah, but there's one way to look American. You could look like and be American, if that makes sense. Right now, I am Moroccan American. Of course, I don't feel that. I just really feel like I'm Moroccan, even. But to them, I'm brown and I have very different eyes and blah 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 blah, so they don't know where I'm from. And I always make sure to tell them that I'm Moroccan and I introduce them to my culture. If I can cook for them, I do. It's not something I hide. It's something that is definitely a pride of mine.
Yeah, so I see. It's even your personality. Like I've been following you for quite a long time, and it's still like your personality is, cool one. a person who likes to enjoy life, to do things they love. And it's actually the first time I see a teacher doing that, because being a teacher is always stressful. I know few teachers who have cool personalities, but
okay, I want to talk about that. I want to talk about. So here's the thing. I feel like in general, if you have a career or a job somewhere, there's an expectation you have to be just that. If you're a teacher, you just have to be a teacher after work, even on the weekend. However, I feel like it's important that we honor all aspects of our lives. So I'm a teacher, but I'm also a friend, and I'm also a daughter, and I'm also somebody's girlfriend or wife. It depends on your situation. And I'm a lot of different things. And so me making a TikTok or me making a video on Instagram doesn't make me that teacher.
That's it.
It just makes me human. And after work, I'm not thinking about teaching. I shouldn't be thinking about teaching. I don't want to be teaching 24/7, thinking about work 24/7.
How do you do that? How do you do that? I personally would like to know, how do you do that?
Okay, so here's for real. I don't waste time. If I were to give you a structure, I don't waste time. At work, and I'm not saying this in a bad way, people have lunch together. I am part of a little team, and they're so nice. I love my team. I enjoy talking to them and working with them. But they have lunch together every single day. I'm not advocating working during lunch. Lunch should be lunch. But I personally enjoy lunch more when I'm like doing something at the same time. And so before I leave my work, I know that I have actually taken advantage of every single minute, so that when I come home, it's my me time. It is not work time. Now, it doesn't always go that way. Some days I have to work even when you come home, because it's just teaching. But I that when you work ahead of time, if you can, and if you do not procrastinate and leave things last minute, you're more likely to be successful, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to do this. Some weeks are easier. Some weeks I'm more successful. But in general, that's just what I do to make it.
I see, like, this is in general, like, each one's personality. But here, I think here in Morocco, like, being a teacher is always linked to complaining about the situation. We don't like this. We don't like, and the stressful part about teaching, about students, the problems. Still, we can't find teachers who live their normal life, like making reels, as you said, making TikTok. And even when you're a teacher, I think for me personally, it's even more like in Morocco. Speak about Morocco, it's even more pressure on your shoulders. Like when you're walking, you can still like maybe a student will be around and he will see me doing something, and that's not accepted here in Morocco. So teachers, they should be model teachers. They should I don't know, like.
I want to challenge this idea.
Like this part, كاد المعلم أن يكون رسولا, and you have to be a person like, you stress yourself.
كاد المعلم أن يكون رسولا. Okay, ماشي كاين مشكل. استغفر الله العظيم. كان في وقت تيك توك فهذا الرسول كل الرسول استغفر الله.
يديروه. Yes, they will do it.
No, what I'm trying to say هو أنني مثلا أنا إلا مشيت حتى أنا يا أستاذة. Okay, أنا في القسم أو بلا ما دخلت أنا.
Yeah.
راه كنحاول نعاون every تلميذ، كنحاول ندير نلم. عندي تلاميذ عندهم إعاقات ذهنية. Some of them عندهم disorders, learning disorders. So la leçon ديالي my lesson has to have for those kind of students, and not just those students بزاف. Alors, for me to do that, it's time consuming. I do my best in the classroom. However, me making a TikTok, me having a good Saturday, enjoying it, sharing it on Instagram.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing, by the way.
Yes. So I feel like
I'm just asking. Yeah.
Like that doesn't make me less of a role model to my students, you know, as long as I'm not posting about horrible things and bad things.
Yes, of course.
So I think right now my idea is, if I post something, am I going to be okay with my students seeing it? Am I going to be okay with my dad seeing it? And if the answer is
do you usually ask yourself these questions, or
Absolutely. And
You
sometimes
do.
I post something and I'm like, man, I shouldn't have posted that. Delete, delete, delete. I'm a human being.
Hate.
Oh,
Yes.
yes. Yes. ولا, I have اختي, she is my voice of reason. She would be like, I wouldn't post that. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You're right. Because I'm very impulsive. اللي كيجيني راسك نديرو. I have become better at like thinking about what I'm gonna post. Like, you know, what الحاجة اللي كنت غنبوستيها وكنت اوكي اني اشوفها بابا يعني ما فيهاش مشكل. ما فيهاش مشكل لا
Exactly, that's it. Yes.
So,
لا إذا كان بابا غير يشوفها يعني everyone غير يشوفها.
يعني أي واحد.
It's okay.
Yes. That's just
Yeah,
how
so,
I social media right now, you know?
mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. Like, I like the idea of teachers being active on social media, especially teachers being active in I would call it like invading the students' environment, because students' environments now includes TikTok, Instagram, things like this. So if students get to see teachers as well, like part of their life, like living the life they're living, playing video games they play, I think this could help a lot, and it makes a difference.
I think what we should say is teachers being human beings. It's because
yes.
I believe that before, the idea of being a teacher is that you're some kind of a god that doesn't make mistakes. Absolutely true. We're human beings. We get tired. We want to play. We want to date. We want to post.
Yes.
And it just happens that we want to do these things in a time of social media. Some students are not. Some teachers are not involved in social media, and that's okay, and some are, and I think it's a personal choice. Like it's not like we have to, but if a teacher
yes,
then go ahead.
Well, okay, so this is actually like a really big topic, speaking about teachers and how they should behave and on social media and things like this. Still need another live actually for that. So I think we should get to our topic, which is goal setting. Goal setting, I think this is one of the topics we can apply, as you told me when I texted you. It can be applied to learning English, as it can be applied to all our lives, because goal setting can be the major, let's say, the major problem with some people not achieving what they want to achieve, because there is a problem with goal setting. Can you give us like a definition to goal setting? What is setting a goal? What does it mean?
Setting a goal is to find a goal, work towards it. And it sounds simple and so easy, but this is what a lot of people find challenging, because they blame the time, whatever reason they blame. And so I have a strategy that I use for my own goals, whether it's at work, whether it's personal, and it works. So I'm just, I'm not an expert at goal setting, but I want to tell you that every time I set a goal, I achieve it. Not by mere chance, but because I put in the work. But
that's actually succeeding. That's you're an expert if you set goals and you succeed. Because life is the best teacher.
For sure.
Yeah. How would you describe goal setting in life? Like, is it that important to be specific about goals?
Well, I feel like we all have goals. At some point, when we become adults, we should have goals. If you don't have a goal in life, I don't know. You're a potato, a cow. You're dead. Because if you're alive, you should have some kind of goals. It doesn't have to be a lot. Maybe one personal goal a year, one professional goal a year, and then also we can go back into week. Every week we should have some kind of goals, right? And so without them, we would just be like spinning and going into circles. In my opinion, goal setting provides structure and kind of a map of how to reach that goal. Because remember, if you're a human being that is alive, that is living, that is going to school, going to work, you should probably be thinking about goals. It's something. You should be working towards. So
it's like we should never do things without having goals. دابا كيجي شحال من واحد كيسولك I ما عرفتش راسي فين غادي. I don't know.
I just had a conversation مع واحد البنت اليوم. She's a mom.
Yeah.
She's going in school. مخربقة. Which is fine. Sometimes I can مخربق, but at some point you just have to sit with yourself. هذا عاوتاني موضوع واحد آخر ديال ملي كنكون مخربق كيفاش
Yes.
You know what I mean? But basically.
No, it has to do with, it's related to goal setting.
Yes. ولكن المرة الوحيدة اللي غادي نقول أننا ماشي ضروري يكون عندنا goals هو when the goal is to have fun. It's fine when you're
Yes. Yeah.
when you're on vacation. You know what? The goal is to be on vacation. That's a good goal enough. When it's your weekend, maybe you need rest. The goal is to rest. And this is something I'm learning right now. I'm working on it. We don't always have to have a to-do list. I am the queen of to-do lists. I love to-do lists and checking them off. I love it. I love planners. I have 15 planners. I'm obsessed, but it's not. So I'm trying to find a balance in which it becomes a healthy thing for me to create things and work on projects, you know?
If you need it, if you do need a to-do list, you can set it. But if you're just having fun, as you said, or something, then you won't need anything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we are to link goal setting to learning English, most people, I got this question like many times, the same question. It's about starting to learn the language, any language, speaking about English specifically, and then quitting. Lack of motivation is part of this, but how is this related to goal setting when learning a language?
So I feel like when we talk about goal setting in general, literally it could be applied to anything. And learning a language is also some form of a goal. And I get this question so much. What can I do to learn English, or how can I learn English? So I want to talk about how I tackle a goal when I have one. Like, what are the steps? So first thing I do, I have a little list here because I am the queen of lists. So I have my list. First thing I do is I set the goal. Literally, I set it. And the biggest thing I want to say about this is set a realistic goal. Most people set some non-realistic goals, and that's why they get discouraged and they quit half time. Because you're setting yourself up for failure if you set a goal that's way too high than what you can actually achieve. Now,
what are some? Could you give us like some examples of these unrealistic goals relating to learning English?
For example, let's just say someone is trying to learn English and it's like, well, by the end of this year, I'm gonna write a little short story, and they speak zero English, for example. So maybe like you might want to say by the end of this year, I'm going to be able to learn to write a 5-paragraph essay, a good structured. That's good enough, because writing a good that's the key word. Coherent, cohesive paragraph is a big deal. It takes a lot of steps, a lot of grammar, a lot of rules. And so I'm just gonna get this guy out of here because it's distracting me. That's a friend, actually, and he's acting like a clown. I can't do that. I'm being serious right now. I'm having a serious live. All right. So set a realistic goal to help set you up for success. So it really depends on the person. It depends on what you're trying to do. And then once you have your goal, break down your goal into bite-sized goals. So here, if you say, I want to run a marathon by November. No, November is too close. By January, okay?
By January,
If you say, I want to run a 10K marathon, it sounds like a lot. It sounds like so much, and you might be overwhelmed. You'll be like, okay, I can't do that. It's too much. But if you say, every weekend, I'm going to run 4 miles to prepare myself to that big goal, You know what?
Mm-hmm.
That's more digestible and that's more realistic, and it's gonna get you excited because you're gonna feel like, actually, okay, I can run from 4 miles. You run your 4 miles, and then you feel like I could do more. Maybe next weekend I could do 5.
Yes.
And building up.
Yeah.
I think breaking down your goal is just as important as setting it.
Yes, I totally agree. This also, for some people, they start when they start learning a language, they say, I want to speak English. Like also this idea of having a goal that is not really specific, like a broad goal. Like, what is I want to speak English? Like, you should be specific about what you want, really. Like, do you want to speak to a friend and understand him? Like, what do you want exactly? Being specific is also part of this.
I agree.
Yeah.
And so, setting a specific goal, breaking it down into smaller goals. That's what we've said. This will set you up for success already.
Yeah.
Because you're going to be as overwhelmed as thinking about it as the big goal. Unless you have assistants who are Beyonce, then you can do that. But if you're a human being by yourself, you're probably going to be better if you do this. And one thing, when you break down your goals, in my opinion, it's one way to track your goals. For example, I'll give you an example of me writing my book, which I just finished. By the way, I just want to share this moment with you. This is my new book.
Yeah,
so,
that's great.
You know what? When I first thought about writing the book, I didn't say, I'm going to write 228 poems, because that would have given me a heart attack. It's a lot. I said, I want to write a book. And then I said, okay, what's next? Let me break down the little pieces. And I thought about chapters. Okay, chapter 1. So I tackled it by chapters. And then when I finished the first chapter, I was like, okay, I finished the first chapter. I can do the second chapter, 3rd and 4th. And now I have a book.
Yeah.
And this could be
like when you achieve. It has to do like with achieving one goal, like leads you to achieve more.
And you get
especially when you see, and you get excited. And you say you keep track of your work as well. Like when you see yourself achieving this one specific goal, you can like see your achievement. You can track it. You can see it. It's really important.
Literally measurable. You can see it in your hand. Like you're like, okay, I have my chapter 1. Let me go get chapter 2. And also you become your own person of accountability, which we will talk about later in a little bit. So the third thing is set a deadline that's flexible.
Excuse me, Amina, you are breaking. I don't know if your internet connection is not good enough or mine. Is your internet connection good enough?
From my part.
I don't know what's the problem.
Can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you, and I can hear you pretty